Welcome to Accounting Made Simple, where numbers make sense and confidence begins. I'm Mr. Samson, and today we're diving back into our accounting topics. Whether you're in grade 10, 11, or 12, you are in the right place. Let's break it down step by step for you.
Good day and welcome. This is another day, and we are looking at the EMS paper for grade 8, and this is Financial Literacy, November 2023 from the Limpopo province. Today's focus is primarily on the accounting equation. So I'll scroll down to look at the section where they've tested the accounting equation. So that will be section B, question 2, 6 marks. The first thing that I look, it is the answer book. This answer book is different from what we are normally accustomed to. Of course, the principle stays the same. So I'm going to view our own table that we use to analyze accounting equation, which covers more scope. The table should look more like this. When you are analyzing transactions, I want to know the source document. I want to know the journal. Then you identify the general ledger accounts and specify which one is going to be debited and which one is going to be credited. I also want to have a separate column for the amount of that specific transaction. Then thereafter, you show me the effect on the accounting equation. So analysis covers almost all the aspects of the accounting cycle from step number 1 up to step number 4. We'll put them all together. All right, let us look at the questions again. So record the following transactions in the accounting equation below, and then there is an example. So the table covers both the general ledger aspect, and it does not address the source document. It does not address the... I love this table. It tests the logic on the accounting equation, but since this is grade 8, we must get all the basics right. So we're going back to our table. So the first one, P. Mabunda took 450 Rand worth of trading stock for his personal use. I'm going to adapt this question to suit grade 8 scope. We deal with cash transactions, so I'm going to remove trading stock, and I'll simply say, take Mabunda took 450 cash from the bank for personal use. Now that looks like grade 8. It is now a cash transaction. So if Mabunda is taking 450 cash from the bank for personal use, how do you record this? Using our table. So remember, that is we're on number 1, which happens on day 20 of September 2023. So number, I'm going to simply say day 20, and then source document for cash taken from the bank, it is EFT, and then the journal CPJ. Now out of the transaction, I'm going to identify 2 accounts. The owner took 450 from the bank. So account number 1, bank. Then what is the purpose of the money collected from the bank? Personal use. So personal use is represented by drawings account. Once you have 2 accounts, the next step is to classify them. Bank is an asset and drawings account owner's equity. At this stage, you are going to bring in our golden toolkit. We should remember that this golden toolkit helps us to know which account to debit and which account to credit. So here is debit all expenses, assets, and drawings. And I have an asset here. So under normal circumstance, if I want to increase an asset, I'm going to use the debit side. If I'm having liabilities, income, and capital, I'm going to increase from the credit side. And I know we are familiar with this. So you should write down this on the question paper or on your answer book. To be specific, write this on your answer book. Then come back and look. All right, now I have these 2. I'm going to choose bank account because that's my favorite in this case. Whenever you are taking money from the bank, you are decreasing the bank account. Now I'm here. How do I decrease a bank account? Since bank is an asset, it means it increases from the debit. But in this case, I'm decreasing the bank. I'm going to credit the bank account. So that's how you apply the golden toolkit. And it means I'm going to debit what? Drawings. Remember the amount? It is 450. Now this classification does not only help you with the general ledger accounts, it will help you with the effect on the accounting equation. So I'm still having an asset, which is bank. And earlier on, I had to credit the bank account because the bank account is decreasing. So here I'm going to put a minus. Now, from there, once I have assets, I should remember the accounting equation is actually written like this. Assets is equals to owner's equity plus liabilities. So what happens on the left must also happen on the right. So without testing owner's equity, I'm certain that this is going to be a negative because I've already said assets are decreasing. What happens on the left must also happen on the right, the mathematical rule. Liabilities, well, on my two accounts, I don't have any item which is classified as a liability. So the first transaction on day 20 is covered. Last question, that is for day 22. Bought a machinery for 8,600 via EFT. So we are buying. Again, we should analyze this using our table. Day 22, we are buying machinery. So when you are buying, it is CPJ because you are paying cash. And the cash was paid via EFT, our source document. Stays the same, it is EFT. Now we must identify the two accounts. Account number 1 is bank because cash is involved. Account number 2, we're buying in a machinery, and then we're going to use equipment as our account. Classify these two accounts. Remember, when you're classifying in class, you received that paper which says classification of accounts, which lists all the accounts down. In our classroom, we call it the golden paper because it helps us to see all the accounts at once. Now, classification for bank, asset. Classification for equipment, asset. Now, out of these two, they all increase from the debit side because they are assets. Now I'm going to choose one account here, which is my favorite. And in this case, I'll stick to the bank again. When I'm buying through the bank, and I'm buying equipment or machinery for 8,600, I'm taking away 8,600 from the bank account. It means the bank is decreasing. And if you want to decrease a bank, you go to the opposite side of its debit balance. So I'm going to credit the bank because asset increases from the credit side. And I'm going to debit equipment. Amount 8,600. Now, out of this classification, I don't have anything on owner's equity and I don't have anything on liability, so I'll put zeros. I'm left with assets only. So since I'm in one column, it is minus and plus in one column. Minus representing the bank, which is decreasing, plus representing equipment, which is actually increasing. And all this happens in the column for assets. Remember here, when you put down your classification of accounts, if there is no entry on liabilities, liabilities must be zero. If there is no entry here of owner's equity, I don't want to see anything there. And remember, the golden rule, what happens on the left must also happen on the right. So the moment you say plus on assets, we expect to find plus this side. There are times where you have this scenario on day 22. We call it 0 is equals to 0 because minus 8.6 plus 8.6 will give us a 0. So at all times, the accounting equation must balance by saying what happens on the left must also happen on the right. So if you have a negative, you must have a negative entry on the right hand side, and then the accounting equation is balancing. All equations, they always balance. All the best. Let us meet in a different question on a different day. Thank you.
Thanks for learning with me here at Accounting Made Simple. If this video helped you, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. New lessons drop each and every week, so stay sharp and stay consistent. If you've got a question or need help with a topic, drop it in the comment section and I might feature it in my next video.